What up, traders? What up, investors? Kenny here from the Dyslexic Investor, and we got a very interesting story in which I kind of learned something more about, and it's just super interesting, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So I'm not quite sure if you guys know on who the Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints are. I'm not trying to convert you to anything. I'm just saying that their nearly $40 billion fund is buying Zoom communication, and then they're also buying Grubhub. So this is a very strange situation because if anyone knows, a fund that has, I think, over assets over 150 million or 100 million have to file with the SEC on their positions on a quarterly basis. And they have not done that for many years until this year. So if you look at the SEC site, you're just not able to see any of these documents that they've filed for the SEC. That being said, we're not going to be digging into that today, but it's just strange that a church that it's very prominent in the sense of how much money they have. In comparison, this is between all their ETFs and stock positions, it's like 40 billion. The comparison to what the Vatican had, I think they reported a couple years ago, was like 7 to 8 billion. So this is a enormous amount of money, and they have literally, it breaks down. Here's some of their top 25 holdings here, and it's the companies we all know. So it's everything from Apple, Google, Amazon, J&J. We got some JP Morgan in there. We got some Berkshire. We got Disney. We got Chevron, Home Depot, Thermo Fisher, Bank of America, all these Adobe, like companies we all know and love. And then we look at the overall holdings breakdown by sector. You can kind of see here, since the quarter of 2020, we have basically a move to healthcare and tech due to the overall pandemic that we're currently dealing with. So this is kind of talking about the article about their first filings and so forth. As the end of March, the firm's capital comes from the executives, people who own the stocks and funds, and how they use the stuff. So, for instance, Zoom Video Communications, which is a web-based, that we all know that, they owned about 40 million shares worth of stock. They also added another they created a 7,400 shares in the meal delivery service Grubhub. The SEC file shows through the value of the stock declined over the quarter due to the fact of we don't know exactly when they bought them, but we'll look here in the chart here in a second and we'll analyze those. So they're also getting into the genomics business, looking at some other healthcare providers as Humana. They're just being super diversified. If you look at this is literally how a portfolio should be run. But it just, again, not silly, but it's just strange that it's a church that is so fiscally responsible and just making this crazy amount of assets. And of course, the news guy, the reporter, was like, hey, what is this money used for? That's a lot of money. And they call it a rainy day fund. In quotes here, rainy day fund. This is going to be used for projects around the world. If the tithing, aka the money that the people of the church give to the church, slows down, they can pull from it. It's considered a rainy day fund. They use it to also give to charities. They give to charities quite a bit here due to the pandemic and the virus going on, giving a lot of food to food banks and doing cash to different various agencies. That being said, but it just kind of really scratched my head that a church has literally $40 billion. And again, I'm not a tax official or anything like that. I just play one on YouTube sometimes. This is crazy, right? I'm sure they have to pay taxes on it, right? They have to. It's basically, they're making money off of it. It's just, I know they own some like businesses too. The Church of Latter-day Saints, like radio shows. They own health insurance companies, things like that. and they may pay taxes on that. I remember reading that, but they have to pay taxes on this for sure. I think. Again, if there's any tax pro out there, please put in the comment section below on they have to give taxes, because again, for the tax reason, do they have to, so if I'm a member of the church and I give my whatever $10 or whatever into the bowl every Sunday or whatever, every week, does that considered income tax, and they just move that wealth into the stock market, and then they can, it seems like a really good setup. Like, I think Dyslexic Investor needs to turn into a religious following, so any money that does come in, we can add that and add it right into earnings and see if we have to pay any capital gains. Maybe a little fun experience. I know that John Oliver did a bit about churches and how they get around taxes, but I don't know to what extent. Anyways, let's go ahead. We're going to go look through some of their bigger holdings. First of all, we're going to just look at Zoom Media, or Zoom Communication Video. And this one's kind of been on a tear. It's got earnings coming out basically on the 2nd of June. So that is what, next week? Or sorry, basically a couple days or a week and a half from now. It's just been on a tear. Again, it has not really broken below the 21. I know there's going to be a lot of emphasis on this. We can look at the June. They're saying plus or minus $25 basically. So where we're at now is going to be looking to just a tad under 200, so around 196. So we're going to add, oh shoot, okay, bring that down. There we go. Boom, right there. I'll leave that there. Oh, I didn't want to cancel it. Yeah. We're just gonna call it there. Okay, replace. Thank you, Thinkorswim. So that being said, it's looking super strong. It's trying to potentially test its high of 81.1 here, 181.1. The only thing is the overall market this week was kind of up, down, like a roller coaster, like we talked about in the previous video. It's still holding the 5 and the 8 exponential moving average quite well, but it did close yesterday, which is today, Saturday, below the previous candle here. So that could be something. I'm not going to hold my breath on it. I know I did a video previously, maybe a week or so ago, about a head and shoulders pattern. That's still somewhat intact. It's not going to be if you're a pure chartist, but if this can continue coming down, this would be into somewhat a reverse cup and handle or a head and shoulders pattern. Again, but there's just this huge question mark out here for earnings on the 2nd of June, because it's just going to be a $25 up or down. So $25 from here, so be 50 and then like 40, so around a little bit below this is the 50 simple moving average, I believe. Yeah, 50 simple moving average. The parabolic SAR is still positive and it's trying to hold it. If it goes negative, I think this is kind of move quite a bit. It's going to be interesting to see, because if you watch the previous video, they literally had 10 million active users in December of 2019, and just previously in the month of April they had 300 million active users. So that's a huge jump. We don't know exactly how much of those people are paying for it. They do offer a free one-to-one video chat system, but are people doing longer dated contracts? Because within the website you can do month to month, or you can do a whole annual subscription to the service. So it's going to be, I do believe that this could be a household name for some time, for sure, because it's just been so prominent, and it's just like we talked about in the previous video, that it's just like, hey, just Google it, or like hey, let's just get an Uber, or hey, let's just do a Zoom. Like, it's literally come into our culture. It's a word that everyone can relate to and knows exactly what it is. So that being said, I think be super careful. I'm not going to be playing it due to the fact of the earnings coming out. It's going to be too much of a head scratcher. Potentially, if it craters and the 5 or the 8 and the 5 external moving averages crossing through the 21, we could see some more potential downside. But ever since this overall pandemic has started, the 5 and 8 have not gotten near maybe once or twice. So you like once here, really basically almost through it here and nearly through it there, but it's just been bouncing back. So it really needs to break that 21, so the 160 or below, to see any more further downside. And of course, upside, we're looking at basically 180 or above for the bull case. So that's being said for that. And then the other one that our folks at Latter-day Saints got is the Grubhub. And again, the article didn't go in great detail. Oh, did I not do that right? G-R-U by... Oh. And this one, again, everyone knows that Uber is try to acquire it, try to do a full stock offering, and then Uber later that week literally laid off like 3,000 people. It seems strange. I understand why they want to get this. It's just a huge competitive space with multiple people spending a lot of money on trying to get the food delivery service, and especially with this isolation and working from home, and having to self-isolate a lot of times from some states, that this is still a play for a lot of folks and just getting meal delivery. And I think once people try it, they actually enjoy it and had a good experience, they probably would keep it. That being said, looking at the chart of Grubhub, you can kind of see here that we've had technically a lot of issues here at the 200 exponential moving average, which is the dotted teal line here. We did have that huge candle up that was, again, due to the fact of Uber in talks with them. Ever since then, we've been hugging the 5 and 8 exponential moving average. The parabolic SAR has been hovering below it. We closed fairly strong on Friday, which is a nice little indication. We're still above the 5 and 8 and the 21. The 21 is about across the 200 exponential moving average, which is also key. So potentially more support to come. And if the stock does go down, there's a lot of support here at $52. So we're actually going to ratchet up our support here, and then we're going to put an at or above at the $160 or $60 level. Did it not show? Maybe it's just being slow today. Okay, it just doesn't want to show. Anyway, so the the bull case is going to have to break above $60 and close above it, and basically just have to watch this very closely due to the fact of it's kind of been riding up the 21 exponential moving average. Since earning has already passed, that's kind of a huge question mark out of the play. The next overall concept would be of what's going on with Uber. Are they going to up the offer, down the offer? What's going on? I'm not quite sure. That being said, we're just going to be looking at this if you're trading it or investing in it, looking at overall support here at $51, $52, and potentially trying to see it break above $60 again, due to the fact of if a lot of people are starting to use this, or if we get further isolations due to the economy having to clamp back down, we could see a pop in this stock again. Even though with the overall pandemic going on, it didn't really move that much, because it kind of went down with everything else. Again, it cratered around the 18th or the 20th, the 23rd actually. It got a low, but kind of made like a, I don't know, that's kind of like a V-ish kind of bottom, but you spike up. That being said, it's not going to be a stock that I want to own, honestly. I just rather just own a straight Uber if it goes down. Let's look and see if they have anything else interesting on the article. I know this is kind of a strange little bit that we did here, but I just wanted to show that even the Church of Latter-day Saints is investing in the stock market, even though I just don't know the taxation behind it. But their portfolio is very well laid out in the sense of being extremely diversified. Again, I'll link this article in the description below. If you have any comments or questions, please leave in the comment section below. Don't forget, we have a fantastic live stream tomorrow at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time. Let's call it our stock talk. We talk about various stocks, analyze, and just have a really good time. And then we have a wonderful Discord if you want to join that as well. It's completely free. Down in the description below, we just talk about stocks, options, all kinds of fun things, memes, all great stuff. And then if you want to take your membership to the next level and you're interested on supporting the channel a little bit more, we have a basically a Patreon page where you can kind of get some extra. I'll share some charts, I'll share some my watch list, and different things like that, and I'll post different various updates on the sense of what YouTube videos I'm working on, some interesting chart ideas, some casino stocks that I was talking about. Just like really interesting stuff, and I know I'm saying a lot. With that being said, greatly appreciate it if you check that out. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. This is Ken from the Dyslexic Investor, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.